I love that.
Yeah.
Say that again. What do we need?
You have to have your creator. You have to have your engineer. Then you have to have your mechanic. And then you have to have your driver. Now, most of us want to be the creator. We come up with the ideas and then we want to drive to the finish line. So we really need our angels in between to engineer, come up with the blueprint. The blueprint then gets passed on to the mechanic. The mechanic builds it, gets it ready for us to drive. And that's...
Thank you for joining. You are in the vault with the Kate Broddick team, and I am your host, Kate Broddick, and I am so excited to have a friend and colleague and fellow head coach, Stacey Prieur, who is the head coach of Revel London, joining us today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Kate. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, you're in the vault.
I know. It's amazing. And it's the most gorgeous vault I've ever been in.
It is a great vault.
Yes.
It is, and I've said this to many people. I was looking for a Norfolk location.
Yeah.
And I stumbled across this listing. It had been on the market for a long time. It used to be the original post office, and then it transferred into like a political office. And I walked in and it was in shambles.
Yeah.
But I came to the back and there was this vault not done like it is now. And I was like, that's it. This is it. This is the office.
Yeah.
And this was the purpose was I was like, I'm going to create a podcast.
I love it.
And it's going to be in the vault.
I love it.
And so that's how this all came to fruition. So we're in the vault. You're in a good time of the season because there is no heating or cooling in this time. So come August, it's really hot in here. Oh and in the wintertime, it gets really cold. And we've blown the fuses a couple times with no lights. But we love it. It's super cute. So thank you for making the drive all the way from London.
Yeah, my absolute pleasure. No, and I'm really like everything you do, when you put your spin on things, magic happens. So I'm so excited to be a part of the vault.
Yeah. And I'm excited to have you here because it's always special for me when we have head coaches come in. We've had a couple of them actually on the podcast, and they're all fantastic. And we've grown so much. I have completely lost track of how many offices that Revel has.
I think we're at 40.
Okay, so I still thought we were in the 20s, but here we are, we're in the 40s. But, that's a testament to Ryan and Nikki and the whole Revel Head HQ. They've done a phenomenal job. But I think as a guest here today, what I want to do, as I want to do with always, is I want to dive into how you got into real estate in London, if that's really where you're from.
It's not.
Why Revel? Because you weren't always with Revel.
No. Oh my gosh. Long story long. I'll make it short.
Yeah. Start.
Okay. So I was living in Australia. I ended up having to move back because my visa was expiring and I didn't want to take Kung Fu. That's another story. I had to take Kung Fu to stay in the country and do 20 hours of Kung Fu for a visa. But anyways,
they've got some weird restrictions over there in Australia.
It was either work on a farm, go to surf school, cooking school, or Kung Fu, and Kung Fu answered first. So I am Master Creep. Exactly. So I was pretty bummed that I couldn't stay in Australia because it was like my world at 31. And I ended up moving back to Windsor. And a girlfriend of mine was like, hey, I'm going to school in London. Come to London. They've got this great place, downtown Kathy Brown's. Let's go for an 80s night. And I'm like, all about the 80s music.
Yes,
I'm like an 80s girl all the way. And so we're there, and it's kind of like that story. You see that guy from across the room, and literally that became my future ex-husband.
Little did she know 10 years from now, and it shoots to
exactly.
It's okay. You live and learn.
But yeah, so he was just starting a real estate company, and I was doing when I was in Australia, I was doing a roadshow, but we were highlighting different businesses. So I was doing videography, photography, website design. My degree is actually in marketing. So basically I thought this dude was super hot. And I was like, why don't you take me for dinner? And I'll help you grow your business. No bags. And that was like the beginning of our relationship. True story. So that's how I got into real estate, because he literally went from making $30,000 in a part-time job to then 60, then 90, then 300,000. And he's like, you need to quit your job at Chorus Radio. And I was like, you need to put a ring on it. I was like, it's all about leverage, ladies. And I was like,
And that's how you became a real estate agent.
Yeah. And I started by managing a business. So I started doing all of his marketing and advertising. Then I did all of the admin. Then I got my license. clients. Then I started recruiting for him.
Yeah.
And I was facilitating everything I could to just get him out of the house to sell, because that was really his area of genius, and he loved being with clients. So I was kind of managing all the things on the back end.
Which is super pertinent to a career in real estate.
Yes, absolutely. And because I had my degree in marketing and I had done all these things like videography, photography, social media management, and marketing, squirrel, ADHD much, yeah. But it was like all of these things. Yeah. Jamie's like, me too. Yeah. So I was like, this is perfect for me. Finally, something that I can like, deep dive into. I'm doing it for love. We're like sharing all the money, but we didn't have a lot of money to start.
Yeah.
So really using all those like farming tactics, guerrilla marketing, like any sort of social media marketing that we could like get our name out there and our return on engagement, not so much our return on investment, because we didn't have anything to invest.
Yeah.
So that's how I built we built our company. And then on one fateful day in, oh my gosh, I was like 38. So 2018, 2019, my loving hubby looks at me and says, you need to get a new job. And I was like, that was me.
That was me. I think that's the classic female, like, what?
I was like, do I need to take off my earrings? Them the fighting words.
Yeah.
And I literally said, you need to get a new wife. If that's the case. I was like, excuse me? And he's like, I think I can manage this company by myself. And he's like, I don't like that other people see you as the boss, because I'm the broker of record. And like we had recruited 5 agents, we had 2 admin, and he was really struggling with the fact, because he was out of the house and he was doing all these things.
Yeah, but that's his genius.
Yeah, exactly. So we struggled as a husband-wife team to stay in each other's lane, like not in each other's lane, like you stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. But he really had a hard time with it. And he did say he felt that he was a little emasculated, and that he said that I made him feel stupid. And I really took that to heart, because I love this man so much, right?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, a couple of his friends were going through divorce. He was going out to the clubs, and I was going through the fertility program for 4 years and like trying to run this business, packing on 75 pounds and like hormonal as hell.
Yeah.
So basically what it came down to was he's like, I'm just not happy. And my come to Jesus moment was in the nurse's office. And Kate, it's kind of funny. It's heartbreaking, but it's funny. So we're sitting there and the nurse is like across from here and he's like right here. And she looks at me and she's like, in 25 years, I've never seen this. And she's like, I've heard of it, but I've never actually seen it. So keep in mind, we've been battling. Like we're just, you fight over like the stupid.
You're at odds with each other.
Yeah. Like you don't know if you want to like kiss him or punch him in the face. Like that's marriage when you get to that point, right?
Yeah.
So she looks at me and she's like, she's like, we were going to do the IVF, but when we had his specimen and your specimen under the Petri dish, she's like, anything of his, your body and your mucus is attacking it like a virus and killing it on contact. He literally looks at me, and I swear to God, it was like my movie moment. He like turns to me and he's like, you bitch. And he's like, even on a molecular level, you're emasculating me.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I'm so full of like emotions. I start laughing hysterically.
Yeah, that's called trauma. It's dark humor. It's what we use. It's a defense mechanism.
I was like crazy girl laughing. The nurse is like, I'm just going to give you guys a moment. And I was like, okay. So then I was like, I guess we're done.
Yeah.
Like,
my cells don't even like you.
And the funniest part was that he was sort of getting rashes in certain areas of certain things. Yeah. And it was because even the acid levels in my skin were so high. I was like eating through jewelry, and I had an acid leak in my stomach as well from all of the things
and things. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was crazy because we separated in January of 2019. And then I felt like I was writing my country song because we put my dog down. I like literally left with a suitcase, my SUV, and my white dog. I went to go live in my cousin's basement. I was like now 278 pounds. I was 39 years old, no kids, no husband, no. And I was like, like feeling like the biggest loser on the planet. And I was like, how did I get here? Like, what happened? What did I do wrong? I loved this person so much. How was I so blind and so dumb, right? And so I literally said to myself, and then I found out like what he was going to do for the buyout wasn't exactly what I had anticipated. There was some things with accounting, again, yada, 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 a little bit on the stupid side. But I remember looking at my bank account, seeing $246.17 and being like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this.
But
yeah,
that was a breaking point.
It was a breaking point. And it's funny because there is this amazing quote that I've seen, and it's like, from breaks come breakthroughs. Yes. And I was like, okay, I wasn't happy. This wasn't working. And I'm not broken. I'm a shiny disco ball. So I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
I was like, and my brother, I was licking my wounds. I'm not going to lie. And my brother says to me, he's like, you need to pick yourself up. And I was like, do you not realize what just happened? And then he's like, no, man. I was like, I just lost everything. He's like, well, you see it that way, but I see it as you have nothing holding you back. And I was like, that was my...
Brothers are a good thing, let me tell you. And I look at that and I think, you know what, everyone's got a situation or a personal experience or a year or 2 years, especially the last 5 years. It's been up and down like this. Everyone goes through things. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a loser. If anything, it realigns what you really want in life. Yeah. Because then you became your own real estate agent. Mm-hmm. And in 2023, you joined Revel?
Yes. That's when,
because you were a year, 2022, was it? Oh, yes, it was. Yeah. It was the end of 2022. That's right, because I had just done my grand opening in Brantford and Norfolk.
Yeah.
So then what led you to that then? Because all of a sudden there's this catastrophe. It's like dumpster fire.
Big time.
Yeah, but that's okay. We all go through it in life. And then now you're an independent agent.
Yep.
You're in London.
Yep.
You get to Revel. How did you get to Revel?
So... more interesting stories. So 2019 was really like a year of unraveling and then refiguring things out. So I made a list of 10 things that I absolutely was amazing at and that I loved doing. So I had the great idea that I wanted to start a band before I was 40. I wanted to sing in a cover band because music was my salvation and I could get lost in the music and forget about all my troubles. I also ended up getting contacted by my agent from Toronto because I used to be in acting when I lived in Toronto for 10 years. And she's like, I think you'd be great for this gig. Can you go out? And I was like, okay. So I went out to the audition, had no idea what it was for. And it was actually to become a Lululemon model for the new plus size line.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I actually became their size 20 model. When they were launching their line, they used to fly me out to BC. They actually have a mannequin of my body.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, they've got I had to sign an NDA. It was super wild. So
wow.
Yeah, every 3 months I flew out to BC for an entire year. And they were so amazing to work with. The things that go behind that was just incredible. When I was there, some of the other models from BC, they were one was also in real estate, and she was like, you would be such a great mentor, such a great boss, because we were talking about real estate and I was trying to get into coaching at the time with Kathleen Black as well. And I really liked being a leader. I tried working for a couple other brokerages, but I just wasn't jiving. No.
Your cells were eating them.
Oh, they were. They really were. And my dad was like, it was funny. Yeah. My dad's like, Stace, it's not your fault. I raised you to be a chief. And he's like, this might be why you have problems with men too and problems working for other people. He's like, I raised you to be a boss. And he's like, so it's hard for you to be someone who is just a worker bee when you're the queen bee. Yeah. And I was like, oh. So I was like, I really like this modeling thing. Yeah. And I was like, okay. So I literally took 3 months off. I had a fluke thing happen as well where I actually almost died.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had a 2-inch gallbladder stone block my bile duct and I was puking profusely. I started going jaundice and my organs were starting to shut down. So basically they were like, if we don't do this surgery in 8 hours, you're like,
there's no more. Yeah.
We're not like, So I was like, pitter patter, let's get at her.
Yeah.
So I had to take 3 months off to heal from that because that was like a pretty intense surgery. They took my gallbladder out. They found that I had an acid leak in my pouch. So I had to go back for another stomach surgery where they rerouted everything. So I had to relearn how to eat and like what I could eat, what I couldn't eat. Like it was insane. So during those 3 months, I had a reckoning with myself. And I was like, I can work for someone else and be moderately happy. I could take a leap of faith with nothing and try and work for myself and like start my own company again and start from scratch, but with experience. Or I can do some research. And that's when Revel came into play because Andrew Perry was on my show, Agent on Duty on Rogers TV, because I had a real estate talk show in London. So I started researching the Revel stuff because having a marketing background, I was really drawn to the marketing flair, the look, tone, feel. And I really just started liking the people. Like I had met Andrew and then I went to meet Ryan and Nikki. And at the time I had met my business partner, Marcia, who's also co-head coach with me in London. And I was like, Marcia, how crazy are you feeling?
Yeah.
So I was like, do you want to do this with me? And the other thing that I found was that there was a lot of females in real estate in London that were not given opportunities for growth. They were not given opportunities to move forward. They weren't getting the leads unless they were kind of putting out. And it sucks to say that, but it was very like, if you didn't flirt with the old boys and like, let's do one of these, you weren't really, or you were known as a dragon lady. It was kind of like you were either one or the other, right? So I was like, I want to give a safe space for someone that's like me, who's motivated, who's heart-driven, who wants to do good, who wants to like give their clients an experience, not just a transaction.
Yeah.
And that was the birth of Revel London for me.
And Revel opens up the doors to allow you to still have that authentic flair of who you are. Yeah. And it pairs really well with a brand that is very modern, very chic. The support staff is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But also just the people running it are just really good people. And the one thing I loved about Revel and still love about Revel, because people come to recruit me and the first thing I say is loyalty is my number one quality. And as far as I am concerned, I will always be loyal to Nikki and Ryan because I feel it from them.
Yeah.
And I think that loyalty is something that you don't get a lot in life, and in real estate, it's non-existent. No. And I was really excited to see you with Revel because I was coaching with Kathleen Black at the time, and I have so much respect for Kathleen. I have so much respect for her coaching program. I've often told her, like, when I've given her a hug, like, I feel her energy. She is such a good person.
Yep.
With amazing values. And so I was with her coaching program for, I think, 2.5 years. Obviously having meetings with Kathleen, but Marissa was my coach. And I'm telling you, Marissa got me through some really hard times in life. Similarly, I was going through a family situation where I had a divorce. Yeah. I had 3 children, and she really pulled me out of those spaces where you start to question whether or not you're making good life choices, whether or not the guilt and shame you feel is real, and should you like beat yourself up about that. And she really put me on a path. And I love to see that Kathleen Black is also now coaching with Revel. Yeah. Because I think their brands are super aligned.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you've coached with Kathleen.
Yeah, so I'm the
OG.
I am the OG.
The OG.
Yeah. Hey. But yeah, so I've been coaching with Kathleen now for 4 years. And one of the things that drew me to Kathleen Black was that she really walks the walk. Like, she will not ask you to do anything that she wouldn't do herself or hasn't already written a book on, like literally, like a docuseries. Yeah. Like, just to toss out a couple things.
Yeah.
But she's always treated me with so much kindness and so much respect. And like, so she's Durham based. When my dad passed, she actually drove down just to take me for dinner and just to check in, like physically in person. Yep. And she always, like, last year was a pretty rough year, and she's always like, just like check in. I'm like, I feel bad because every time we talk, I cry and I'm not a crier. And she's like,
no,
it's
now
okay.
You say, I am a crier now. Yeah. That's what I do. So you know what? I own that. I own that. I say to Adam all the time, I'm like, oh my goodness. So last week I just looked at him. I'm like, I was a little bit overwhelmed, had a lot of things going on. And I looked at him, I said, I think I'm going to cry. And he looked at me, he's like, okay. And I went, and I just start crying. That's what I do. I own my crying now. And you know what? It's a release of all the things that are weighing you down. Yeah. That is not a bad thing. Crying is very healthy.
I call them ninja tears because I never know when they're going to sneak up and attack. Like I actually,
I'm pre-warned.
Yeah, I'm like, I have makeup in my car now just in case.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. The world is hard, and sometimes because you cry it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of I'm acknowledging that this is really tough right now, and I just need to have my moment. I'm going to dust myself off. I'm going to pick myself back up. I'm going to tilt my crown back up, but I'm just going to have my 30-second moment.
Well, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, and the way I was brought up was that if you my dad was always like, you want me to give you a reason to cry? I'm like, no, I'm already crying. Duh. Why do I need a reason? And another reason. Yeah. But that's like, and it's so funny because I remember my dad, like, maybe inappropriately, was like, girls only cry when they want things. And I was like, rude.
Yeah, I was like, but no, that's an old man's mentality.
I know.
I remember my dad.
Yeah.
But I mean, now you're here and you've got this, you're coaching in Kathleen Black. You're coaching other agents.
Yeah.
That's a big responsibility.
I am so proud of my agents. So the last 3 years, like we've seen the markets go up and down. It's like the roller coaster, Wild West, right? So my top teams that I'm working with right now, I'm going to give, like, I almost want to give them a shout out, but I know it's got to be like.
That's okay.
But my guys, everybody that listen. Last November, I was like, listen, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Everyone that listened, they doubled their business in the first quarter, where a lot of them suffered.
And that was a hard quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. So like they're winning awards. They've almost hit their goals. Like, and they're second quarter, they've almost met their entire goals that they did last year, this year.
That's amazing.
My guys are recruiting too. And I was like, this is incredible. Like the systems work. They totally work.
Systems work if you apply them and you believe in them. I think in real estate, the catchphrase is systems and processes. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, I've got systems and processes. I'm like, but do you really?
Yeah.
Like, because systems are like, they're systematic approaches that you have for each department that you need to carry out every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer in them because I'm a very systematic person.
Yes.
I'm very task oriented.
Yes. And I want your CRM. I'm not going to lie. I would like to cover that KV
That's
core.
Okay. Yeah. At the end of the day, we're open books. I have to give shout out though to Jen, who is our inside sales agent. Yeah. She really does keep us organized.
Amazing.
I'm really good at logging things and really good at setting tasks, but she it's like a village in our office.
Yeah.
It is. It's I have never ever taken credit for the full success of myself or my team because I couldn't do the things that I do without the people I have.
It does take a village.
100%. Yeah. I've got Victoria, who's customer care and concierge. She also does transaction coordinating. Yep. I've got Jen, inside sales agent. She also does a lot of our social media. Yep. Carolyn's our director of communications, and literally she just runs absolutely my entire life. And then there's Stephanie Haveling, who is an angel sent from the above, who is my licensed assistant, my chaos
coordinator.
Yeah, like she's like, look, hey, what all these fires that are going on. I got this one. I'm like, oh my God, it's Oz's birthday. I already sent him an Amazon gift card. Don't even worry about that. I got this. And I'm like, what would I do without all of you?
She's your Anne Hathaway.
Oh, she
from Devil Wears Prada. Not calling you Meryl, but
but we have all our people.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing.
Yeah. And I think that with being a head coach with Revel or a head coach in anything, when you're running your own business, you always have to have your pillars in order. So for me, I always say administration's number one. Then you have your marketing, you have your sales, you have your research and development, and then charities and events.
Yeah.
So in order to have a full holistic department, like in everything going on all 5 cylinders, you have to have all of those organized. And then within those divisions, you have to have your creator, your engineer, your mechanic, and your driver. And as team leads,
love that.
Yeah.
Say that again.
You have to have your creator, you have to have your engineer, then
mechanic.
you have to have your mechanic, and then you have to have your driver. Now, most of us want to be the creator. We come up with the ideas and then we want to drive to the finish line. So we really need our angels in between to engineer, come up with the blueprint. The blueprint then gets passed on to the mechanic. The mechanic builds it, gets it ready for us to drive. And that's what
and I got those 4 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I'm going to start nicknaming them.
Yeah. You got your crew.
Well, it's the truth though.
Yeah.
It really is. And I think that, I've always said, because I was a solo agent, not for very long. I don't know how solo agents do it by themselves with just a brokerage support, because brokerage support, as much as, and I'm not saying anything bad about them, you've got your administrators and stuff, but they don't have that personal touch, that connection with you. They don't have your blueprint.
No.
How do you do all of that on your own? And that's why I think teams became such a big influence, even though you're Revel London, and you've got a small brokerage of how many people? 16, 17?
Yeah, about that. Yep.
Yeah. So I did the count on your beautiful social page.
Thank you.
It's even at that level, when you've got, that's a lot of people in my mind.
Yeah.
What about those brokerages that have 200-300 people?
Well, and then I think that's the difference between becoming, so I think there's different types of brokerages. I think there's brokerages that farm and recruit agents.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah, and they want to make the money from the agents because they don't care if the agents are selling because they're still charging them their monthly, right?
That's right. And even if 20% are only selling, it's the numbers game. The more agents you have, the more likely you are to make money.
Well, and now, like in our market, they're doing the flat fee up front. So it's like you pay your $9,000 at the beginning of the year, and then you keep 100% of your commission. What they're really doing is they don't care if you perform or not. They've already got their $9,000.
Yes.
They've switched the mindset of the agent. And like some of the agents, if they're not performing, if they're not even doing 4 or 5 deals, then you never would have paid $9,000.
Absolutely
right?
not. Yep. So they're getting it up front. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing it that way. Whereas with us, like we kind of, we did it holistically as well. And I know that when you recruited your team, a lot of them were clients or friends or people that you knew.
Yeah.
And that's similar to what we did. Like with our agents, they were agents that we knew from before, but also they were struggling. So we created 2 leasing positions for 2 of our junior agents where they get all the leasing leads. Yeah. So now their pipeline's filled, and we're teaching them how to put them on buyer programs so they can cultivate and like farm them in 3 to 5 years and get them on a savings plan. We also tapped into, like, Dee is one of my amazing agents. She's also my marketing coordinator. So she runs our marketing and events. She has a background working for a wedding company or like a wedding event company. So we're like tapping into that. But she needed some steady income coming in. And I was like, she's a great agent. I also want to help her like pay her bills while she's building her business.
Absolutely. And you need to be able to do that.
And then Avery was a new mom. So we gave her the admin position in the beginning. So she had some income coming in while she could work from home. And when the baby was sleeping, she could do some work for us on the side. Now we have another administrator, like, and she's quite lovely as well. But we've really tried to work with the agents that we have, promote within. And again, you can't buy loyalty. And if someone's going to be loyal to you, you want to treat them like gold.
Absolutely. Well, loyalty is a two-way street, right? Yeah. And that's like, I've always thought to myself, you know, do I want to be a team leader when it gets really sticky? Do I want to be a head coach? You know, life could be easier if it was just me and maybe a couple of admins. But the truth of the matter is the answer could be yes to all of those things, but I love my team. Like I love them. And it's not a love for anything other than they're good people. A lot of us grew up together. I have had some of them for 10 years. Yeah. And we basically grew up in real estate together. Like who I was 10 years ago is not who I am now. And who they are were 10 years ago is not who they are now. And there's something really refreshing, very fulfilling, and it gives you a sense of completeness when you have people around you that it's not just transactional, it's not just business, it's family.
Yeah. And honestly, like when I was living in Australia, I remember being at the top of a cliff, looking down, seeing the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. To the left of me, there's nobody. To the right of me, there's nobody. And I vowed then and there that the next time I rose to the top and I had something amazing to like share, I was going to bring everybody up with me. And I think you're very much similar.
Yes.
Like it's when you can prove that you're number one over and over and over again, right? But if you don't have number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 standing on that podium with you, who's going to make you better? And who's going to be there to support you? And also, like right now, I'm going to be 45 this year. And
40s rule.
I love it.
40s rule. Jamie will tell you 50s are the next best thing.
But so now my whole motivation is, I don't want a disposable legacy. I want a sustainable legacy. So I want to build something. Like, I don't have children to leave things to. So my agents are my babies.
Yeah.
I want to build something incredible with a vibe that's incredible, that can be sustainable long after I'm gone. And people will continue to pay it forward and remember the kindness. Remember to be collaborative and not, so controlling or so competitive. Like, I always want people to rise up with me, because when they rise up, it gives me a chance to promote myself and do something different.
Yes.
And research, develop, grow, right? Yep. And I just think that's the way it should be.
It should be, and it also just gives you a sense of purpose, right? I had a conversation with an agent the other day, not on the team, once again, just talking about what's my end goal? Yeah. So do I have something here that's sellable when I'm done? And I thought, well, maybe not, but I have something that gave me purpose during its time.
Yeah.
And to me, it's not always just about the business. It's about the journey throughout the business. Yeah. And real estate is 24/7. Yes, there's a lot that comes with it. Clients who need you at all hours of the day, agents who need you at all hours of the day. Sometimes you're performing, but you don't see that back financially.
Yeah.
Other times you see it tenfold.
Yes.
So, I mean, if it's not going to be about your team and who you're with and who you surround yourself with, then what are you doing it for?
Exactly. And you have built something truly incredible.
I for a bit there, I was like, oh goodness, what am I getting into? Maybe I should sell t-shirts, because I think I'd be a really good t-shirt designer. I have lots of witty sayings.
Yeah.
But I do love what I do. And I know that you love what you do.
Yeah.
And tell me, we're going to veer off here just for a second. The London real estate market. What are you seeing?
Yes. So lots of different things going on in the London real estate market. We had a lot of development.
Oh, really?
So we had, because we, like everybody, 2016 hit and the inventory went off the shelves, right? And then we saw the builders boom happen in 2017, 2018, 2019, then hit COVID, and then there was a shortage of materials. Yep. So then 2021, 2022, it was kind of like we didn't have residential inventory. We didn't have new build inventory. So then people started going to condos and rentals. So then the rental, like all of the prices got jacked up. Then there was like the downslide, right?
Yep.
For 2023, 2024 was a really tough year for a lot of people. What I see is referrals being a huge thing for agents, because our economy in London is heavily based on the hospitals and
auto.
Not really auto.
No.
So it's more the university.
Oh, university, yes, Western.
Yeah. So we saw a lot of people migrating for jobs there and like just transferring in. So really working on our referral network was key with people like yourself. We've actually got referrals from your team as well.
Good.
But like our Toronto counterparts and stuff like that. So agents were working on that. We've seen prices go down about 100 to 150K overall on residential.
Yeah.
So the buy-in's a little bit more affordable. We did have, for our first quarter, inventory was going off the shelves. Like if you had like a turnkey property, it was gone within 48 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
We actually saw multiple offers coming back in.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny because we were like, oh, yeah, it's like game time.
Yeah.
Because we're like, oh. But and then Easter hit, and then we kind of hit a little bit of a lull. So we're hoping that the momentum will get back up when the rates go down. I'm projecting that they will go down.
They are going to go down.
Yeah.
See, we saw a little bit of the opposite. We saw a bit of a standstill in the first quarter. I think a lot of the emotions centered around both national and global economics with the U.S. We are steel, auto, and aluminum. So the tariff threats on that and the jobs on that were a bit scary. But now we're seeing things move, aren't we, Jamie?
Yeah.
We're seeing things move. You know what? Also, the weather. Can we talk about the weather? The weather was so horrible.
It was sweater weather.
It was sweater weather was way too long this year.
Yeah.
The rain. Yeah. I am a very in tune with the weather type of person. So if the sun's not out, I'm not very happy.
Yeah.
But today's a beautiful day. I do think that the weather is going to pick up. I think the real estate market is going to stabilize. I think we're going to have a great second half of the year.
Absolutely.
And I think everything's going to be. I think we're going to fall back in love with real estate.
Well, people always need a place to live.
Absolutely,
right?
And we're shortage right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think that's, and people they're saying, oh, apps are going to replace, you can't replace an agent.
No.
The agent is the one that knows the history of the area. They're going to be protecting you, and app's not going to protect you. They're not going to tell you that a biker club is down the street.
Like, no, but there's also the emotional connection, and it's very personal selling your home.
Yeah.
I think at least.
Yeah.
So what's, give me one thing that you project for the Revel London office to see in 2025. Like what is your forecast here? What can we expect?
So Revel London, we are continuing to grow. We've got a couple agents in our back pocket that we're waiting to onboard. And the funny thing is we kind of started as an all-female brokerage, but we've got the guys gaining momentum. I know.
We added a couple guys a couple years ago. It's a good thing. Get some testosterone in there.
Exactly.
Mix up the estrogen a little bit. Yeah. It's not a bad thing.
No. And it's really interesting because the people that we're recruiting, we've got an agent in developments, we got an agent in commercial, we've got an agent that's now affiliated with wholesalers. So there's lots of opportunity at Revel London, especially if you are looking to pick up leads, open houses, if you're an agent out there that's hungry for business.
Yeah, boots on the ground running.
And heels.
And heels, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, Revel London's calling, babies.
Yeah.
So come on.
So if people want to find you, where would they find you?
On all the major media outlets. You guys can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook because I'm of that age demographic.
Yeah.
You guys can call me. If you research Stacey Prieur, Prieur, I'm Google famous.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We all are too. We just need to remove the 2010 to 2013 circa, but that's fine.
Yeah. Thank God. Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want, just Google Revel London, give us a shout, and we would be happy to sit down and have a chat with you.
And I think that's a good idea because in the Woodstock area, if it is growing at the way that you are saying that it's growing, and if agents want to feel that autonomy and they want to have a collaborative environment, Revel is definitely the place to be. And as a head coach, I can honestly say that you are a wonderful person. So there is no doubt in my mind that you would be a wonderful head coach.
Thank you. Yes, the Woodstock area is growing, but so is London.
So is London. Oh, sorry. Did I say Woodstock?
Yes, you
Why
did.
do I keep wanting to say Woodstock?
Because they are growing.
They are growing. Okay, that's right. But that's a different head coach. And that's
shout out to Jess and Mitch.
Right. Well, I certainly appreciate you coming down here to sit with me. It has been, as always, a pleasure. Yes. And hopefully the next time I see you, it will be over cocktails and appetizers at a Revel event. They throw one hell of a party.
They do.
And I'm excited for what's on the horizon for you. You look fabulous, darling, by the way.
Thank you. You always look fabulous.
No, actually, it's just when I have to shoot here. I also like my Lululemons and big hoodies, so don't kid yourself. But to find this podcast, you will be June's episode. Follow us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Carolyn always has a speech for me to say it. I never get it right, but tune in next month for Stacey Prieur, our London Revel Head Coach, and we will see you next time.